Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here tonight with the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, Rockingham Speedway with the Gen 4 Cup cars. In the booth with me tonight, Christian Taylor. Christian, how you feeling about this one?
We are about to go playoff racing, Stars and Stripes style. We have 12 amazing drivers who are going to be competing to win the championship here in the Stars and Stripes Racing Series. But first, they have to conquer Rockingham, a very difficult track, I might add.
Yeah, you're going to notice a lot of tire wear here tonight at Rockingham. Always a good place to kick off playoff racing. You might have noticed our playoff standings there while we were in our pre-race there. But, Christian, what have you taken out of the playoff standings so far?
Well, I'm just going to go through them real quick as we're watching Dylan Graham and Chad White qualify. Scott Rickard, the GOAT, is in the first position. Very surprising, right, Blake? We would have never guessed.
No.
Second to him, though, Scott Rickard has 31 points. Second to him with 17 points, you find Kyle McCoy. He's been putting up some dominating performances in his, unlike his, college, very undominated. We'll get to that later. And the third position, you find Zach Kreitz. Zach Kreitz in the number 9 car has 10 playoff points moving in to the playoffs. Chad White, just about to put TV driver who is racing not only for a championship, but his job in that 36 machine. Moving on back, you find Kyle Bowling. He is tied with Chad White with 8 playoff points. Going to be looking to move up the board from the 5th position. And then I'm going to speed up a little bit now that we're at the top 5. We have Dylan Grimm in 6th, Josh Gratton in 7th, Aaron Hale in 8th, Ryan Lynch 9th, Chris Essery 10th, Aaron Poplin 11th, and you just saw him spinning and junking it in qualifying was William Duff, the 4th.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these playoffs play out. Just 4 races of playoff action. These guys racing hard after the points reset. But like you said, Scott Rickard has that big buffer to work with after his dominating season. You know, again, it seems like McCoy has kind of been dominating here lately, but Rickard's just been consistently in the top 5 all year long, and he's got the points buffer because of it.
Well, you know, aside from playoff points, the 2003 NASCAR Cup Series championship was not won by the car with the most wins.
Well, who won it then?
It was Matt Kenseth. He won. He locked it in with like 3 races to go, which was actually at Rockingham. He had 1 race win and just, you know, a season of constant top 5s, top 10s. Secured him that championship early. That was actually the final year that they did the full Winston Cup points.
In what year, you say?
2003.
Is that really the last year they did the full points? I'm pretty sure they waited after that, didn't they?
Nope. I actually was doing some research earlier today and noticed that.
What the hell they do? They didn't start the chase in 04.
Yes, they did.
There's no way that's true.
Google it.
I'm going to have to check that on the spot here, folks.
Matter of fact, the NASCAR video game was NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. That was the video game.
I guess it did. Wow, I could have swore it was in like 2010. Well, I guess the years go by quickly here. But we're looking at the board right now. Looks like Kyle McCoy, shocker there, huh? Sitting on the pole with a lap time of 23.612 here at Rockingham. Can Kyle McCoy bring home another win here tonight, Christian?
I know he might be able to, but you know who could not bring home a win this week?
Who's that?
That Iowa State.
Yeah, you know, Christian, I've been watching this football team all year long, and they're so bad. Can you believe they lost to Colorado? It seems like Colorado can't beat anybody. Well, they beat Iowa State.
And you know, they didn't just it wasn't just by a field goal. The score was 24-17.
Oh, my gosh. That's just absolutely whooped them.
And you know, Arizona, they beat Arizona State, beat them too. They had 19 points. Arizona State had 24.
And that was this last week, and Arizona State beat them. So it just seems
Yeah.
like Iowa State can't beat anybody. But I'll tell you who can. Kyle McCoy, he has just been killing it. And, folks, it is time to get gridded up. Let's get to the grid here, folks. Get going here tonight. Here we go.
Brian just said 04 is right, by the way. If Brian says it, it's got to be true.
It's right. I
Samara, that is.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, in my mind, it always felt like it was a lot later than that. 04 seemed wild. But nonetheless, we are ready to roll. Let's get the grid going. Some music in the background. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Time for some playoff racing here at Rockingham Speedway with the American 150 laps around the Rock. Tonight's starting lineup is as follows. On the front row in the pole position, he has bad tastes in football teams, but he is bad fast. The number 7, Kyle McCoy. On his outside in the 23 machine, Dylan Grimm.
Moving on back to row number 2, you find Cal bowling in that 44 Pepsi machine to his outside, the man racing for a championship and his job, the 36 of Chad White.
Row number 3 on the inside in the number 9 machine, Zach Kreitzen. On his outside, the 46, Jason Gratton.
Moving on back to row number 4, you find the 4 of Aaron Hale to his outside, the GOAT, starting in traffic, Scott Rickard.
Going back to row number 5 on the inside in the number 25 machine, Nate Lynch. On his outside in the 53, Brian Samara.
Moving on back to row number 6, you find J.T. Tinker from BCI in a 93 machine to his outside, Griffin Sawyer in the 32.
The ladies' man in the 32, going back to the 13th starting position in the 24 machine, Brian Lynch. On his outside, he's a playoff driver, the 17, William Duff, the 4th. And Christian, I think we're about out of time.
Yep, if we didn't say your favorite driver, that means they're slow. They didn't even show up to qualify or something.
Or they're just slow enough to start in the back, because it looks like, Christian, we've got 22 cars signed in. Pace car is in. Field is set. Front row, McCoy. Green flag in the air. McCoy, your race leader.
McCoy and Grimm side by side into turn 1, the 44-36 behind them for second. They rumble through 1 and 2, going to head down Thunder Alley for the first time.
Door to door going into turns 3 and 4. Dylan Grimm on the top side trying to hold off your pole sitter, Kyle McCoy, and he's going to take over the race lead.
Just look how bumpy this old rock is. It's 1 mile or 1.017 miles long, 22-degree banking. It opened back in 1965, and she hasn't lost an ounce of her glory.
I tell you what, Christian, I can see why this place shut down. It is a dump. These guys are driving through a cornfield, it looks like.
Oh, you know, I usually would agree with you, Blake, but I went to this facility this year when they came back to race the trucks in Xfinity, and I gotta say, it was beautiful.
Well, you can tell how bumpy it is. You're watching Brian Samara. I was not impressed with this 53 car during practice, Christian. This guy was all over the place. I don't think he has a clue what he's doing out here tonight. Brian Samara in the 10th position.
You know, last night in the Wheels America Racing League, he did pretty decent. He had a good showing. It just goes to show that the Gen 7 car is way better than the Gen 4 ever was.
Oh, that's going to hurt a lot of feelings there. And keep an eye on this guy right here, Christian. We know he's going to wreck. It's not if, it is when. When is the 93 going to cause a pileup here at Rockingham Speedway?
Well, if he doesn't turn himself across the nose of the 25 right now, it's going to be here within the next few laps.
25 is scared to death, and rightfully so. It's just a matter of time before the 93 takes a hard right and stuffs him into the wall. Nate Lynch wants to pass him, but he's scared.
You know how Ryan Newman was always called the man whose car is 3 lanes wide. He just was the best blocker in the game. people just couldn't get around him. But people could pass JT Tinker. They are just afraid to.
And they just did. There goes Nate Lynch in the 25, getting around this slow and junk number 93 machine, JT Tinker, back to the 13th position. But let's hop back up front. Look at Dylan Grimm. He is dominating this thing early on. Your race leader going into lap number 7.
Cal McCoy was not going to be denied, though, staying right there behind him, 0.2 of a second. He's not letting him get away.
No, he's not. And we know McCoy, he's always in there for the long game, and he's already running him down right now, looking to go to the inside, take over the race lead potentially. Can McCoy take it over this early, or is he here to save some tires? We're going to find out as Chad White is right there with him in 3rd.
Yeah, Chad White's going to hang on. I guess we go in car. Look at the Focus and that cherry red visor.
Christian, I tell you what, this is the look of a guy who is worried about losing his job. Chad White, the Hutchinson Motorsports TV house car driver. Well, we let Chad know it is championship or bust. We know he's got no business running with Kyle McCoy and Scott Rickard, but we told him he better get it done or he is fired.
Absolutely. Addressing a question in the chat from Connor Gerard. He says, hey, do I remember any major races here at Rockingham? I was still pretty young, but I do remember watching the final race at the Rock when it was the winner. Actually, Matt Kenseth won it that year, too. He was runner up to Casey Kane was running up to him, and it was a very close victory. I forget what it was, but it was so close.
Yeah, well, right now we're on board in the Hutchinson Motorsports TV dash cam with Scott Rickard, the GOAT. He's cruising around in the 5th position. Christian, he knows all he's got to do is sit around the top 5 every week. He's probably going to win a championship.
That's all he's got to do. Show up, stay consistent. Consistency is going to be key for the GOAT, Scott Rickard.
And Kyle McCoy still knocking on the door. Dylan Grimm, your race leader. But again, we know McCoy is a champion at saving tires. Let's see if that Iowa State number 7 machine can get back out front better than they do on the football field. Let's drop to the back, though, here, Christian. How about this? You know, Brian Pashimi, he's had a really good season. He is in the Tier 2 playoffs, and he's actually kind of been killing it lately. I'm trying to pull up the Hutchinson Motorsports TV hard chargers, and he is currently 3rd on the board. He's up to 14th. He's gained 6 positions since the start of this race.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the Tier 2 playoffs. This is something that I'm not too familiar with. I know about how the league does it, but so you have the regular playoffs, and then if the people that didn't make that still have something to race for, is what you're telling me.
Yep, there's actually a Tier 3 as well, but yeah, so the best, basically it's the best of the rest here. Tier 2 playoffs, they're racing for some money. It includes Brian Pashini. We know Brian Samara's there, and quite a few others. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see who brings that one home. I'd say Pashini is probably the favorite, especially with all the speed he's had lately. But let's take a look there at the Hutchinson Motorsports TV hard charger board. You might see there in the top position, Christian, you may not have heard this name very much, but he is a long-timer here with the Stars and Stripes Series, Ross Tatum. I think he's making his season debut here tonight.
Is he running the Little Debbie Christmas tree cake car?
Yes, he is. That is a good-looking car. But Ross Tatum last season, you know, he was real hit or miss. He'd come out one week and, you know, he'd be battling for a win, finish top 3. Then he'd come out the next week and he's a field filler. So you never know what's in the cards with Ross Tatum. But I tell you what, he's looking good here tonight. He is up to 6th, and he is your Hutchinson Motorsports TV hard charger so far.
Definitely going to keep an eye on him. I've seen him throw a few paper wrappers out the window. I can only assume he's eating Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes as he's driving.
I wouldn't blame him at all. Them are some good things. Now, Christian, what are your favorite snack cakes? Gotta ask.
I'm a zebra cake fan myself.
Yeah, zebra cakes can't go wrong there. You know, I'm really not much of a snack cake guy. I'm not saying I eat healthy because I don't at all. But just for some reason, I haven't really been into snack cakes that often. So I'm not really sure what I'd go with there.
Yeah, my wife always wants to buy me like snack cakes and junk food, and I tell her not to because I need to be watching my figure. But you know, she just constantly brings them home, and I say, you know, I'm not going to eat these. I'm trying to stay healthy, and the box is gone within a couple of days.
Absolutely, and you know, Christian, I was going to talk good about this guy. He somehow made it into the playoffs, you know, and I was going to brag on him. But right now, Christian, he's running dead last. Aaron Poplin, this 63 machine, is slow. It's junk. He's in last.
So tell me about the Tier 1 playoffs that Aaron Poplin is starting 11th in. Are there eliminations, or is it just 4 rounds, best points win?
Up 4 rounds, shootout. No eliminations, just all in. And Aaron Poplin is not off to a good start.
Well, I mean, I was going to say that he's very glad that there's no eliminations because he would be a round 1 exit for sure.
Definitely have to agree with you there. But let's take a look. The guy starting 12th in the points, which is last, he's not doing much better, Christian. He's 2 spots ahead of him. He is running 20th. William Duff, the 4th. He's jumped.
Well, it only took 4 laps for the William Duff family to leave, which is actually a record here at Rockingham. We have a new record. It was previously last week at Talladega, it took them 10 laps, but it only took them 4 laps this week.
And I can't blame him, Christian. Looks like he started in the 14th position. Not too shabby there, but the green flag drops, and he goes straight to the rear. From 14th to 20th, his family is already gone. They've left the parking lot.
Yeah, Mama Duff was the one who made the call today. Said, I'm just sick of it. We might not even show up next week.
I wouldn't blame them. They made the long trip all the way out here from Mooresville, North Carolina, over to Rockingham. Christian, how far of a trip you think that'd be?
I don't think it's far at all, Blake. We'll get some confirmation.
As we're looking at that, we'll take a look up front. Kyle McCoy has taken over the race lead. We kind of saw that coming. He has got around Dylan Grimm in that 23 machine. So Kyle McCoy out front in the number 7 as Chad White trying to hold off Ross Tatum, who's ripping the top here at Rockingham. He's already worked himself up to 3rd position.
I could almost promise you by the time we're done broadcasting, the Duffs will be pulling in their driveway at home. It's only an hour and 46-minute drive.
Hour 46 minutes. Hell, Christian, they're probably already halfway home.
Oh yeah, but if they don't get caught in the Charlotte traffic, that is, they'll be home.
Well, Mama Duff might want to stop by Cookout or something, so I don't know. They could be home by the end of this broadcast. Maybe not, though.
Yep. Well, we're going to keep an eye on our house car here. Chad White currently running in the 4th position, but he hasn't lost any positions. But the problem is, Blake, he hasn't gained any either. He is about half a second behind our race leader, so he's behind the car in front of him. Excuse me, I was completely wrong there. But so he's not going anywhere.
Hey, Christian, and a lot of people, they'd be happy with that. They'd be like, oh, well, I'm in 4th out of 22 cars. That's pretty good, and there's some good drivers in the field. Well, not us. We strive for greatness. We're not happy with being mediocre or being okay. If you're not winning, you're not doing enough here in the Hutchinson Motorsports TV house car.
Absolutely. And, we call it like it is. If we say you got junked by somebody, that car junked you. I mean, you got to take for what we say seriously. And it's just 100%. If we say it, you might as well write it in the Bible.
Absolutely. We take a look here at Nate Lynch, currently cruising in the 13th position here. Looks like he's going to give up a spot to Brian Pashimi, who's working up through the field. He's gained 8 spots since the start of this race. Pashimi up to 12th.
Shout out to Connor Gerard. He was giving that car some hype right there. Says it's an old Martin Truex Jr. throwback.
Yeah, and I'm trying to jump to the field here, get some of these old looks. As a 32 throws a slide job for 10. Trying to check out these old paint schemes. We're here in the old Gen 4 cars, and I like that payday scheme there from Aaron Hale in the 4.
Yep, payday candy bar. It's not going to be Aaron Hale's payday, though. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only payday he's going to have is if he gets a candy bar at the end of the race, because Aaron Hale is running 10th right now.
I heard that his sponsors doesn't even give him free candy.
I wouldn't either. Let's take a look here. Look at this guy. What do you think of this car right here, Christian?
I think it reminds me of good old Rocky Top. Wish that I was on old Rocky Top right now, but I'm stuck here broadcasting with you.
Oh, well, I definitely appreciate that. But, boy, we've learned a lot from Chris Essery here lately over in the Flim Dogs Racing League in the Wheels America Racing Cup Series. Chris Essery's had some great speed to start the season over there.
Yep, I saw him as he passed me a time or two.
Last night on Yeah, Monday night is the night for that series, and he qualified on the pole. And I was thinking, man, he's going to be pretty good here tonight. Green flag drops, he dropped straight back to like 10th or so. Ended up working up through the field a little bit, but I think he ended up involved in a wreck maybe. I can't remember where he finished.
I mean, quite frankly, who wasn't?
It definitely seemed that way as Ross Tatum is up to the 3rd position. He's working up to 2nd. Man, it's good to see this guy back on the track again, Christian. I've been here now. This is my 3rd season, I believe, with the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Ross Tatum's been in all the other seasons I've done. Well, he hasn't made it out yet this year. Well, here he is tonight, debuting the Little Debbie Christmas Tree number 21 machine, and he's about to take over 2nd.
I will say he's one of the only cars, as it kind of bites him there, he's one of the only cars wrapping that top lane. It seems to be working out for him if he doesn't kiss the wall.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking. He's literally the only one up there, and he is charging through the field. As you see, he is up to 3rd, started all the way back in 15th. Ross Tatum heading to the front.
Yeah, the cost of his tires, they're going to be burnt like Little Debbie cakes here soon.
Let's take a look at the HMS TV manufacturer board. Well, back in the day here, Christian, there was only 2 manufacturers, at least in this game. So all we got out there, Ross Tatum is your top Ford running in the 3rd spot. We only have 4 Fords out there. What a bunch of Chevy homers tonight.
Absolutely. And, I'd say iRacing needs to get off their tails and go ahead and negotiate a deal with Pontiac and get them in here like they belong.
Or Dodges even.
Yeah, Dodges. I mean, there's 2. I guess if you get Pontiac, you kind of get Dodge, but get them in here. I mean, there's no reason you can't tell me in 2025 you can't make a deal. And if you can't, it's on you.
100% agreed. Time to check out the Hutchinson Motorsports TV battle board. Best battle on the track right now. Looks like it is won for the 19th position. Christian, what are you seeing here? Actually, it's 20th. As Aaron Poplin making some passes. He is up to 20th. Aaron Poplin heading to the front.
I say he's heading forward. We're not going to jump the gun and say he's heading up front, Blake. He is in the 20th position.
Now, Christian, put some respect. He's a playoff driver. That's Aaron Poplin.
He's got 1 point, Blake. 1.
Well, that is true. But I'll tell you who's not a playoff driver, actually. His car owner up here in the 11th position, Brian Samara. Not in the playoffs. Well, Tier 1 playoffs anyways.
Yep, like I said, he's doing good in the Gen 7 car, not the Gen 4. But it just goes to show which is the better era of racing. Gen 7 for sure.
I'll tell you what, Brian doesn't like being in. It appears to be them Indy cars. He is terrible in those open-wheel Indy cars.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why he's not in the playoffs.
Meanwhile, JT Tinker, it looks like he's been on the back bumper of Nate Lynch this whole race. Is Tinker going to finally junk him? I know he's licking his chops and wants to eventually take out that 25 car. The question is, when is he going to do it?
I think he's got a sneaking little goal. Oh, he might do it right here. He's got to run off the corner. He just backs off. JT drives like a mad orangutan every week.
Here we go. Better look out, 25. JT Tinker's under him. Is he going to junk him, or is he going to pass him clean? Slide job.
Oh, Nate about wrecked him.
Oh,
Nate knows that if he doesn't wreck oh my gosh. The JT Tinker Intimidator effect was on then.
Yeah, he must have been playing those old, what was it, the old NASCAR Thunder games where you had the Intimidator button?
Oh, yeah. He surely had it activated there.
Absolutely, as Kyle McCoy still your race leader out front, a 2.3 second gap between him and your second place car, Dylan Grimm, with Ross Tatum cruising that top side, sitting in 3rd.
What do you think about people putting their Christmas decorations up right after Halloween, Blake?
I'm all right with it as long as you wait till November 1st. The people going out in like early October or mid-October, that's kind of overboard. But if somebody wants to put it out early November, I guess I'm all right with it.
All righty. My wife, fortunately, likes to wait until we eat the turkey for Thanksgiving. So I'm fortunate there, and most people already want to put them up.
Yeah, well, Christian, thankfully, when you live by yourself, you don't have to worry about putting up anything Christmas related.
Well, we're gonna get you there. We're gonna find you a girl. maybe Sydney Sweeney. We'll get you hooked up with her.
Okay. Yeah. I saw she was at Phoenix. Maybe I did. I was talking to you thinking about going. Maybe I should have went. Would have had a shot.
Yeah, you kind of blew it, Blake. You blew it.
Yeah, that was my one chance. But right now you're taking a look at the GOAT, Scott Rickard. He's your points leader with a big gap heading into the season. Going into lap number 44 this next time around. He's cruising in the 5th position here now.
He's trying to make I guess he's just saving tire. I mean, I wouldn't say that he doesn't have the speed. I wouldn't dare disrespect the GOAT like that. But he's only up 3 positions. Hopefully, he's just saving his stuff.
He's so slow. Chad White's ahead of him even.
We're not going to disrespect the GOAT, Blake, but that's horrible.
I'm sure he'll work himself up there. Scott Rickard always finds a way to get up front, and it looks like Ross Tatum might have burnt his stuff up driving through the field on the top line. Looks like Chad White gaining a little bit of ground on him, might find a way around him.
Yeah, I have a feeling that top line ripping that looked so good there for Tatum it feels good until it don't.
Michael Kurdzilik down pit road. Not sure if this is a planned stop or what's going on. I'm not seeing the tires or the car kick up, so I'm guessing this was not a planned stop for Michael Kurdzilik.
Oh, we know whose pit board that was behind him with the anime on it. Jesus.
Aaron Poplin, he's about to get lapped.
He's so slow. Why would anybody ride Amtrak trains anymore? It's such an unreliable source of transportation these days.
They have those times that the trains leave. They may as well just take those off and just put a date. If you get on an Amtrak, they just put a date on there because it could arrive anytime between, I don't know, it could be 9 a.m., could be midnight. You never know.
Oh, I have a friend who rode a Amtrak train system back to Texas, and I know she had like 3 or 4 times that she had to sit there and wait on the late train because they had to divert the rails to get something else through.
Well, Christian, I can't confirm pit cycles have started. Ross Tatum down pit road. He's one of the first ones, which is not a surprise. He drove through the field on the top side, burned up his tires. Well, here he is on lap number 48, getting him 4 fresh Goodyears and some Sunoco fuel.
We stay green as somebody's driving through 25 pit boxes, that Oreo machine.
That's a good strategy, Christian. Especially this pit road, it loops around the whole track. This is a short track. So you drive through the pit stalls, you actually save a lot of time.
Yeah, you do. And then, most leagues will, disqualify or give you a penalty, but no one's watching you here, so why not take advantage of it? Well, as the sponsorless Josh Gratton comes down pit road.
Yeah, Gratton's doing the respectable thing, only going through like 5 pit stalls, and he's going to do a Jesse Becker pit stop.
Yep, the patented Jesse Becker pit stop. You either drive through it or, stop too short. Either way, Jesse Becker's going to ruin that stop.
Speaking of the devil in the chat, we've got Jesse Becker. Jesse, how you feeling tonight, buddy?
Jesse Becker back to work after having his little daughter. I'm sure he feels all kinds of sore, realizing how out of shape he got while he was loving on that daughter of his.
Yeah, had to get off the couch finally. Jesse finally back to work. I thought he was never going to go back to work, Christian.
Yeah, I figured he was going to be a stay-at-home papa.
I thought he was going to quit his job for sure, but nonetheless, Jesse Becker headed back to work here after having his baby girl about 2 weeks ago as Kyle McCoy continues to lead this race. 3.3 second lead for McCoy heading into lap number 52 as our pit cycle continues. Aaron Hale down pit road as well as Brian Burchett, Brian Burchett had a great night last night. I believe he put it on the podium in the Wheels America Racing Cup Series.
Well, I didn't really pay attention. I didn't really pay attention to who was, where, because I was too busy junking it myself, Blake.
Yes, you were. It seemed like you had an eventful night and not in a good way at all as Kyle McCoy continues to lead. Here comes a lap car, though, trying to unlap himself.
Kyle McCoy, he's probably, we are a third of the way through this race, and we started pitting on it, so people are going to try to probably do 2 pit stops. He's going to try to stay out and see what he can work up, some extra strategy here.
It looks like the tire fall off. We're looking at about 1.1, I'd put it about 1.1 second fall off here for the leaders, about 54 laps in. So not significant, but we are at a short track, so 1 second here is a lot different than a mile and a half.
Oh my gosh, we are racing on the streets of Delco out there. Sorry, got distracted there. Car blew by my house.
Brian Samara down pit road. Kyle Bolin as well.
That 44 Pepsi machine. Jesse's favorite drink.
Hey, Jesse, he loves his Pepsi. Tell you what, he never stops talking about Pepsi, Christian. Pepsi and rock stars, that's just all he cares about.
Yep, I heard he even, he works for Coke, but underneath his Coke shirt every day, he wears the Pepsi logo.
I can't blame him. Well, I was gonna call it the superior drink, but I just couldn't even spit it out. It's just not true.
Yeah, you're right. The superior drink is Dr. Pepper.
Well, hey, I am actually drinking.
Oh, it's JT.
Oh, look out. I actually am drinking the Dr. Pepper right now, which typically I don't. Look out, JT's trying to junk the 24. That was dirty. He tried to get him.
Oh, is he going to get Tatum?
What is he doing? Get off.
JT is all over the track.
Get this idiot off the track. JT Tinker's trying to hit everything out there.
He's driving like a drunk gorilla out there, all kinds of monkeys down. All up in the wall with everything.
Why is he still out there? I would have pit by now. If you're struggling to get around the track, go down pit road before you junk something, JT. Oh, man, he's still hitting the wall. What is he doing?
He's just out here for the good time. He ain't here for a long time. He's just here for a good time.
And you just saw him. He drove past the pit road entrance once again. He's going to junk somebody, Christian, and they're not going to be very happy.
Apparently, I got to do a disclaimer, Blake. The comments of Blake Hutchison and Christian Taylor does not reflect the beliefs of Jesse Becker. He is a full hard-on for Coca-Cola.
Jesse Becker covering his own you-know-what out there as we're watching JT Tinker. Just a matter of time before he junks it. But Kyle McCoy still cruising out front. 4.5 second gap.
He is just... Other people are pitting. He's driving away.
It looks looks like most of your leaders trying to make this a one-stop strategy race here. All they got to do is get to lap 75 here mathematically. So about 15 more laps to go. McCoy is looking pretty solid to pull that off.
As the 44 is going to unlap himself. And Kyle McCoy just seems to have done a great job at saving his tires, especially over Graham Greitz, as he's still driving away from him.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you who's not worried about saving tires. The 44 Kyle Bolin, who just put down the fastest lap time of the entire race, a 23.97. Christian, time to see the HMS TV quick time board.
Bring it on up. Kyle Bolin on top in the 14th position. But in the second place, you'll find Dylan Graham running 23.83.
In the chat, Trey Griffin says the 17 and the 3 are bad fast. Well, William Duff and Ryan Lynch, I don't know if I agree with you there, Trey.
Is he watching the same race, Blake?
I don't know. He must be watching a replay or something, Christian. Let's take a look at William Duff. He has not pit yet. Right now, he's cruising in the 9th position, but I'll tell you what, he's struggling out there on them old junk tires.
Windham Rewards, probably one of the worst hotels you could stay at is any hotel by Windham.
Well, I tell you what, there for a while, Christian, I was in this spell of getting all the credit cards and hotel bonuses and stuff, and I did do Wyndham, and yeah, it was probably one of the worst ones.
If you go to Florence, South Carolina to see a race at Darlington, almost all the hotels there are owned by Windham, and they are all like the cockroach hole-in-the-wall hotels. Not one of them's nice.
It's true. Rumor has it when they buy a hotel, they actually make it worse because it can't be too nice to make their other ones look even worse. So they always bring them down to the standard they have.
Oh, yeah. You got to go in and spray some yellow stuff on every sheet you have. You got to, rough the walls up a little bit and then never clean the bathrooms for about a year.
Absolutely. And we're taking a look at Chad White. He's a lap down, but he is on this multi-pit strategy. There's half the field's doing 2 stops and half the field's trying the 1-stop strategy. I'm not sure. Right now it's looking like the 1-stop strategy is probably going to be the way to go.
especially for Cal McCoy. By the time he pits and, makes it back out, he's going to have a 7 or 8 second lead, I believe.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting how this plays out. We haven't had a single caution yet, folks, which means we haven't had a single break. So we're going to go Hutchinson Motorsports TV side by side, take our first break of the night. Larry McReynolds has a quick message for you fans at home. Then we're bringing up the side-by-side view. You're not going to miss a lap after that. Nonetheless, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll be right back. Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Click that like button on the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be right back.
Lap 6-7.
Hi, I'm Larry McReynolds. Remember, in any type of racing, it's all about execution. So right now, subscribe to Hutchinson Motorsports TV today. You know America's crew chief. I would never steer you wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at Rockingham. You just saw it live on air, but we're going to show you the replay. Looks like the 8 of Josh Gratton just flat out jumped William Duff. Let's take a look.
So you see the 17 working around the 93. Out of nowhere, the 8 was all gas, no brakes with it. You know what I mean? 17 up the wall and down the track.
Let's see this one more time here, folks. Stop it here. Christian, I hate to say it. I typically don't say this very often, but this might have been intentional. Take a look at the 8. Here's Josh Gratton going down the backstretch. He says, all right, who am I going to take out? The 93 or the 17? I'll take him out. What's he doing?
He just didn't like Windham Awards. We were talking about it, and he remembered how bad he, hates Windham.
I definitely think that has something to do with it. He must have stayed at a hotel recently, and he was not happy. He just shifted in there and flat out junked him.
You know who really caused this wreck? Not the 8 car. Connor Gerard. He had just got done typing. Clean racing so far. Been clean since the start. And then that happens.
Yeah, well, that's going to change a lot of things here as all the guys who were on the one-stop strategy head down pit road. We're basically at the halfway point, so it kind of works out perfectly for them. But let's see, Chad White, is he on the lead lap now? He's trying to take a look. My guess is no. So Chad White's, unfortunately, if he could have stayed on the lead lap there, he could have joined them down pit road. Oh, wait, he is on the lead lap. I don't know. We'll see. No, he's not yet. He's going to be. But nonetheless, we're going to take that quick break. We'll be right back here. Hutchinson Motorsports TV, first caution of the night. You're watching the American 150 with the Stars and Stripes Racing League. And we are back here at the Rockingham Speedway. Stars and Stripes Racing League pace car is in. McCoy up top, Grimm on the bottom, green flag back in the air.
Cal McCoy shoots out of a rocket ship as Zach Kreitz has no chance to defend or to try to even fight for first, as the race is really back for third right now.
As we take a look here, we know the strategies were mixed up, so a handful of guys had to stay out there on the two-stop strategy to get the wave around, so they're out there on old tires. I believe that's starting about the 9th position. So 8th on up has fresh tires. They're on the right strategy.
As we saw JT Tinker, avoid disaster. That wreck happened behind him and all around him, but he's just going to try to wreck himself because he was really hoping it took him out.
Well, I tell you what, Tinker lucked out by staying out there and not pitting. Now he's in good shape because, let's see, I believe in 9th, that's Kyle Bowling, who did pit earlier as well. So you're going to see a buffer here between 8th and 9th position. These guys on the fresher tires, and it's definitely going to pay off for them. But let's see what happens here tonight. If we get a later caution, that's going to change things up. But everybody else is going to have to pit again. But these top 8 are good to go the rest of the way.
If we saw back there a car we haven't covered this week so far is the Bell South Internet car.
Yeah, let's take a look at him. Let's try to find him here.
He's a 32 and 16. Is it? Ryan Lynch in the 3.
Bell South dial-up internet, best dial-up in the business, Christian. If you're on high-speed internet, quit being so try-hard. Get rid of it. Get you some dial-up. Call Bell South.
As anytime we're on that car, and you hear clips of his internet because that's how he's racing.
Boy, it reminds me of the good old days. When I was a kid, which obviously I'm a little bit older than you. I'm not sure if you remember the dial-up internet days, but I remember sneaking up late at night, cranking up the dial-up, getting on RuneScape when my parents were asleep. I got busted a few times, but usually I got away with it.
I did dabble with the dial-up internet. It was pretty horrible, and I actually played with LimeWire on it, which was even worse. Like, you never know if you were downloading a song or a virus that was about to kill your family computer.
Yeah, I had a handful of viruses I ruined a computer on, and I always blamed my brother for it.
That's the best way to do. I mean, you never want to take blame for yourself. But I remember I watched the first Spider-Man because of LimeWire.
Typically I didn't download any videos because they were just too big, especially on dial-up internet. But yeah, music, you can definitely say I had my fair share of that. Obviously legally, because they were just backups. Because I had the full CD, obviously.
Oh, of course. You wouldn't want to pirate anything.
Oh, no. Yeah, I only downloaded stuff I legally owned. But we're watching JT Tinker. He's in the 8th position, which sounds good, Christian, but this guy's had no speed all night long. He just lucked out on a pit strategy call, and here he is, last car on the fresh tires.
Yep, he is sure to fall back. But speaking of falling back, something we haven't talked about this race is the Hutchison Motorsports TV battle for last. Who are we going to get that to, Blake?
It's tough now with the varying pit strategy, but I think we got to go with this man right here, Brian Lynch. And you know this man pretty well, Christian. I believe last week you wrecked him.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that, man. Just keep me out of a car at Talladega, apparently. I'm not meant to finish a race here lately.
We'll take a look at your screen there in the bottom left. You're going to see the Hutchison Motorsports TV battle for last graphic. Brian Lynch out of Manchester, Iowa in the 20th position. He's running last. Congratulations, Brian.
There is a Hooters relatively close to the racetrack, so we know where he's going after the race.
Absolutely. I actually just read some news earlier. I think it was this morning, actually. They're actually revamping some Hooters. They're apparently taking away the skimpy outfits and all that stuff and trying to get back to the old ways they did things. So we're going to see how that works out, if they can maybe save Hooters and save Brian Lynch's sponsor.
Yep, maybe they'll even make their way back into NASCAR, which is unlikely. I think they've ruined their name when it comes to the sponsorship game.
Yeah, but we jump back out front. How about this guy right here? Brian Pashimi is up to the 3rd position. Let's pull up your Hutchinson Motorsports TV hard charger board, and there he is at the top in the 3rd spot after starting 20th. Brian Pashimi, your hard charger.
So is he just slow in qualifying, or does he opt not to qualify so he can do the first challenge?
Well, I think it's a combination of that, and I believe last I heard there was a rule of rookies not being able to qualify, but I'm pretty sure it was after a certain point they could qualify. So I don't know if he just elects not to or what the deal is with Pashimi, but he definitely has some speed, and it's obvious why he does, because Kyle McCoy and Scott Rickard are his teammates.
Well, we're going to keep note of that. We're going to ask him when we get to, assuming he finishes P3 where he's at, and where we're going to interview, we're going to see if he just likes to go last first or it's because of the rule. But we're going to take a look at the GOAT, Scott Rickard.
Yeah, the GOAT, Scott Rickard. You know, lately he's just not had race-winning speed, but he's always consistent. He's going to pull out a top 5 no matter what. And, you know, he's going to call out and thank his dog if he can pull it into the podium and get an interview here tonight.
Yep, just in case he does not, I have to say my wife says hi to Scott Rickard's dog.
Absolutely. Scott Rickard's dog, always a fan favorite here at Hutchinson Motorsports TV, racing for the dog. One of these days, Scott's going to have to send us a picture. We're going to have to put it on here so the fans can see.
You know, I'm going to make that happen, making a note right now.
We haven't talked much about this guy, but he's had a great race so far. Zach Kreitz in that number 9 machine. He is teammates with the Grattons, and you just saw one of the Grattons absolutely jump William Duff. That was the 8 of Josh Gratton. Well, his teammate Zach Kreitz is bad fast. He's running 2nd.
2nd place in that Napa know-how machine. Kind of a throwback. You know, Napa's been in the sport for a long time, even going back early, probably when they raced the last race at Rockingham. I can almost guarantee there was a Napa car on track.
I'm sure Michael Waltrip was out there back then, so most definitely. But Zach Kreitz looking pretty good. See if he has anything for Kyle McCoy. Not many people have this season, but let's see if Zach Kreitz can get the job done.
0.3 of a second behind your race leader, Kyle McCoy, in that Iowa State machine.
Dylan Grimm cruising in the 5th position. He's running top 5. Pretty good night so far for Grimm. You know, it's been a down season for Dylan Grimm's standards. He's used to tearing it up here in the Stars and Stripes series. Well, he's been solid this year, but just hasn't really had that race-winning speed that he has in the past.
Yeah, he's going to try to get it turned around. If he would get that slow FedEx off the car, he'd gain a few horsepower.
That's uncalled for, Christian.
Yeah, FedEx is just horrible.
Chris Estrie, though, cruising in the, let's see, where's he at? 6th position out of Bakersfield, California. Well, I tell you what, I've been through Bakersfield a time or two, Christian. It was on American Truck Simulator.
Yep, absolutely. I've trucked through there a lot of times, even though I try to avoid it because their max speed limit is 55.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy, but Chris Estrie trying to bring this thing into the top 5 with old Rocky Top on the car. He is a big fan of Hutchinson Motorsports TV. He loves it. Boy, look at this guy right here. 9th position. Are you kidding me, Chad? Unbelievable.
This dude, man. I swear. I've already booked him. I put it on his calendar. He's going to have to talk to you tomorrow in your office.
I don't know why he was on the bad strategy. You know, he is the first car on the multi-stop strategy, but it's just not good enough. You know, I don't know why he pit twice. You know, it seems like this happens every week, Christian. We tell him to do one thing on the track, he does the other, and he ends up hurting himself because of it.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you know this, but, and I'm telling you now for the first time live, his crew chief has actually quit because he says, why should I even be there? He's not listening to me anyway.
Yeah, and here comes the 21. Ross Tatum looking to get around him. A battle for the 9th position. Not going to be much of one. He blows by him. Blows his doors off, actually.
And Chad gets loose and almost wrecks it. You know, and that would have been horrible.
Wouldn't shock me. You know, it wouldn't be the first time he wrecks. Won't be the last.
Well, you know, he only has 3 more chances to race because there's no way he's winning the championship.
Yeah, I'm already looking for drivers for next season, in season 12. But here we have Kyle Bowling out of Malcolm, Nebraska. Boy, talk about a dump. That town of Malcolm, Nebraska, Christian, I don't know if I've seen a dumpier town.
Nope. The only town more dumpier than that's probably where Brian's from, in Kannapolis, North Carolina.
Caution is out. What happened?
Put it out!
I am not.
Oh, there's smoke. Somebody's slamming the wall.
I have no clue.
Aaron Hale is apologizing in chat. We might have to get on him and rewind.
Take a look here. I have nothing in the logs, so we'll have to find it. Oh, Aaron Hale just flat out junks the 20. This is intentional. Here it is, folks. Take a look. Intentional wrecking right here. Aaron Hale says, get out of the way, loser. Wham!
25. This slides hard. Gets into the wall. No, that's JT. JT involved.
Yeah, JT trying to avoid him there. Gets into the wreck. So take a look here. Let's go to a different angle.
As the 4 comes up from the bottom all the way to the top to wreck 25.
Yeah, intentional wrecks him, says later loser. And Tinker collapsed the wall. A little side slapper, but nothing too bad. Nate Lynch just got junked, though. So second caution of the night here at Rockingham. As everybody heads down pit road already. These are some short cautions, folks. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back. Hutchinson Motorsports TV, side by side. And we are back here at Rockingham with the American 150 with the Stars and Stripes Racing League right here on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Folks, be sure to click that like button on the video for us. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. We are trying to make a push to 1,000 subscribers. We couldn't do it without you. But your front row, it's going to be Kyle McCoy on the outside as your race leader. Brian Pashimi wins the 3-wide battle off of pit road for second.
That was definitely an intense battle off of pit road. And speaking of intense, Connor, you know what to do, buddy.
Let us know in the chat, Connor. What's it at, buddy? The field is set. We're just about ready to roll, heading into lap 101 out of 150 of them tonight. Pace car is in. We're ready to roll. Green flag back in the air at Rockingham.
Kyle McCoy, the rocket ship. Chevy takes off. We're going through the field. Everyone seems to be rolling nicely as we have 50 laps to go here at The Rock.
Boy, JT Tinker had a terrible restart. He lost, I don't know, 5-10 positions. He just could not get that car rolling on the inside line. He falls all the way to the back. Somebody's junking? No, somebody's blinking or something, I think. I saw everybody freaking out. Oh, Kyle McCoy. Oh, Kyle McCoy's junk!
Oh, no!
Oh, my goodness.
What happened?
I thought I saw something happening here. Let's take a look. Oh, he just spins it out. Oh, does he get help?
Oh, no.
Oh, he loses it. Gets sideways. Pashimi nowhere to go. Clips him into pit road. Race leader Kyle McCoy just ruins the whole race for him. Man, that's tough. He's going to have a black
And he
too.
spins down pit. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
He's done.
Unfortunate. Brian Pashimi may have just won the secondary championship here with this race win if he can hold on to it.
Yeah, boy, if Pashimi can bring home, I believe this will be his first win of the season. He had been bad fast all year long. He started back in the 20th position. Here he is, your race leader, and Christian, he just put down the fastest lap of the session. So it's not a fluke.
So let's talk about the bigger picture. What is this going to do to the championship for the, the stage one contenders? Scott Rickard, the GOAT, came into this race with 31 points. Kyle McCoy with 17. This is just going to make the GOAT Scott Rickard, assuming he finishes up front, to lead even better.
Yeah, he was up 14 points on McCoy coming into the night. I don't know how the bonuses work here, honestly, but Scott Rickard looks like he's probably going to bring home a top 5 here. And, I mean, he's not going to clinch the championship or anything, but he's not too far from it.
And if you talk about the next in line, you find the number 9 Chevy of Zach Kreitz. He had 10 points coming into here, so I might have to do some understanding of how the points are scored, but he's going to make up a little bit of ground on Rickard, assuming he stays ahead of him, but nowhere near what's going to be needed to take the GOAT off the throne.
No, and the GOAT's reeling him in right now, looking to the top side. Rickard trying to get around the 9 car.
As the GOAT, practically only racing Rickard on the track right now when it comes to the top tier championship points.
I tell you what, Rickard, he's consistent all the time, and he's obviously fast too, but I tell you what, he gets lucky a lot, it seems like, and definitely catching some luck here in the championship race. But, hey, when you're consistent and up front, things tend to go your way.
Absolutely, and if Brian Pashimi was here all season, I guarantee you he'd be up there probably between Scott and Kyle with just the consistency of up front finishes he has.
Absolutely, and Dylan Grimm trying to bring home a podium finish here. It'd be good to see Grimm finish up there. He's currently in the 2nd position with Ross Tatum rounding out your podium at the moment in 3rd, heading into lap 109 out of 150.
With just over 40 laps to go, this race has turned around. What was a guaranteed victory for Kyle McCoy has turned into the major upset of the season, with Pashimi heading this one out.
Yeah, Kyle McCoy, he must have thought he was out on the football field like Iowa State when he pulled off that move.
Just like his team, he choked here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely happened, so that's unfortunate. McCoy gonna try to lick his wounds here and finish out the year strong. As you're taking a look at this Wyndham Reward 17 machine, he's still in 11th, even though it's been not the greatest of nights, but he's kind of salvaged it here, trying to bring home a top 10. That's William Duff.
After getting wrecked earlier, his family's not here to witness it, but he's going to try his best to steal a top 10.
Boy, look at Aaron Poplin. He's slow as hell, running in the 12th position. Thankfully, there's only 12 cars on the lead lap, so Aaron Poplin going to salvage, maybe get home a top 12 if he can keep it rolling at least.
Is he just out for a Sunday drive at the Rock?
I don't even think he's full throttle, Christian. He's literally just putting around here, it looks like.
The camera didn't have to pan far back to get to the field, though, so.
Absolutely. It's Chris Essery in the 6th position. So let's jump back out front. Brian Pashimi, your race leader, out front by about half a second. Behind him, Dylan Grimm in that 23 machine in 2nd. 3rd position, you have the 21 of Ross Tatum. 4th's going to be the 9 of Zach Kreitz. And then rounding out your top 5, the GOAT, your points leader, Scott Rickard.
Tire Pro Chevy.
Flying drone here.
In front of, on the drone camera here. Shows you how bumpy this track is. Look at that car just jump around the turn here.
Absolutely. This place, like I said earlier, it's like a cornfield out here. These guys are feeling the bumps. They're going to be sore after this one. Well, I tell you what, Chad White's run out of excuses. Before he had the valid excuse, he was the first car on the old strategy, but now they've got the same tires. He's still running 7th, Christian. Not good enough.
Nope, not good enough. And, quite frankly, we're just going to have to, make a tough decision here. Is it even worth finishing the season?
I don't know. And it looks like our graphics guys has something coming up to the screen here. Take a look. Oh, that is true news there, folks. You heard it here first. Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Chad White might get fired, and I don't know if I even want him to finish the season. We might have to pull a honeycut move here and just cut him. cut our losses.
Why don't we just, mid-race? Well, let's make the decision right now.
Yeah.
Tell them to park it.
You know what? The crew chief left, and he took the radio with him. I don't think I have a way to radio him in, Christian.
Yeah, he is honestly racing by himself. He actually went to the stands, and, if you get any drunk redneck and ask him, do you want to come be a pit crew member, they're going to say, oh, of course. So he's got just rednecks from the fans who pitted him tonight. So.
Yeah, well, we should have got one of them rednecks in the car, it seems like, as Chad White's running 7th. Not very fast, not very good, but Brian Pashimi is flying. He is your race leader by 0.7 of a second.
Brian Pashimi is not going to be denied here tonight. He says, now you see me, now you don't.
And we have 11 cars on the lead lap as Aaron Poplin has dropped back to 17th. He had to head down pit road.
This is a winning pit strategy here from Aaron Poplin.
Yeah, he's going to go, what is he? He's either 2 or 3 laps down now, probably. Aaron Poplin, he's trying to win this thing.
You don't question Poplin, man. He knows what he's doing out there. He's got the winning strategy for sure.
Let's take a look. Brian Samara in the 10th position. I'd say good job being in the top 10, Brian. Well, there's only 11 cars on the lead lap.
Yep, and he's racing honestly, the car he hates the most on the track right now, and that's his car of the JT Tinker.
It was beautiful suit.
Brian Samara. Yeah, it looks, I wouldn't say beautiful, Blade. What color is that?
I believe that's aqua.
It's not glorious as you see on the back of JT's car there.
And neither is JT's driving. Samara better watch out. If he gets side by side with that 93, he's probably getting stuffed into the wall.
As you know, it wouldn't be the first time that BCI cars have wrecked each other as JT got into the wall there in the turn. Brian probably blacked out because he knows JT's just going to wreck him.
Most teammates, you feel safe around your teammate. Like, oh, this guy's going to be clean around me. Well, I tell you what, I think they race each other dirtier than they would a regular driver.
Absolutely. When I'm around Jesse on the track, he's probably a little scared of me, but I know that I could, comfortably be around Jesse. I know how he races. But, yeah, JT, no chance.
Absolutely. The last guy you want to be around, JT Tinker. But in front of him in the 8th position, Kyle Bowling in that 44 machine, Chad White 7th, Chris Esri into 6th, and Zach Kreitz still rounds out your top 5. And as Scott Rickard gets around him, takes over 4th to get himself another extra point.
That helps him in the championship run. Like I said, with Cal McCoy out, and don't get me wrong, this has not eliminated Cal McCoy. I mean, he's going to need some misfortune from Scott Rickard going forward, but Zach Kreitz is going to be the car battling McCoy for 2nd as we move on into the playoffs.
Yeah, he's still out here. Here he is in the 18th position, but his race is basically over unless he just gets massive help with cautions. But he's 3 laps down at this point. He's basically done for.
Yeah, but he did good. He's going to save himself 4 points by, finishing this race. A lot of people, they wreck and they realize they're out. They just park it. And that's how you cost yourself valuable points. People are going to wreck out. People have already wrecked out before you. Go out there, pass them, keep the points.
Yes, sir. As Dylan Grimm in the 2nd position trying to hold off Ross Tatum, who is charging towards him in a battle for 2nd.
Connor Gerard rooting on to 78 thanks to that Martin Truex Jr. paint. Mark, we had kind of a realization this year as, Martin Truex Jr.'s team has had a pretty good year. Everyone was blaming the crew chief, saying that Martin has it, it's just the crew chief. Well, I think he's proven this year that it wasn't the crew chief.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big part of it, Martin Truex he just was kind of over it. It seemed like the end of his career. I don't think he was putting in much work. So I think that was the main issue.
Yeah, but all the MTJ fans were like, James Small, fire this guy. Yeah, James Small almost won a championship.
Yeah, he makes the Final 4, has some bad issues there during the race, but let's be fair, I don't think he really had a shot at Phoenix, but nonetheless, it was impressive they even made it there.
Absolutely. So we were watching Ross Tatum. Mentioned before that he is not a, usual here, but up front nonetheless.
Yeah, Ross Tatum, he is a regular in the long run of Stars and Stripes Racing League, but we switched over to Tuesday nights this season, and I think it just didn't work out for his schedule, so he hasn't been able to make a race this season. Well, here he is out here tonight running third, as Scott Rickard, the GOAT, is right behind him in fourth.
A little Debbie Christmas tree cake car.
As JT Tinker hits the wall again, that's a shocker.
What? No.
Oh, wait, Christian, let's hop on board with somebody here. What are you seeing out of this guy right here?
Well, you got just slow internet, all kinds of, he's swerving down the backstretch. I mean, that car is jumping.
Bell South dial-up internet, some of the worst internet you could ever get, folks. But hey, sometimes it's nice to just dial back, Christian. Everybody's always just so involved in their phones 24/7. Well, the best way to stop that is to get Bell South dial-up internet. You won't be able to use your phone.
No, just especially if Grandma needs to call Miss Betty Sue, you got to get off the computer first.
Yep, and if you don't, she's just going to pick up the phone and kick you off anyway, so it just doesn't matter.
So, I used dial-up, but I was pretty young. Did the phone take priority over the internet, or the internet cut the phone off?
I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, I think it would just make a bunch of loud sounds if you were on the phone and just basically ring the call, but I'm pretty sure the phone took priority, but, I honestly can't remember.
Yeah. It'd be something if you have an emergency, try to call 911, and all you hear is your little boy downstairs playing RuneScape.
Well, all you hear is that sound you just played is basically all you heard when you picked up the phone. Somebody was on the internet.
Absolutely. It was always fun to hear.
You're looking at Ross Tatum in the third position, making a move to the inside of Dylan Grimm. He's going to try and take over the second spot. Christian, I just did some R&D with our research department. And yes, the phone took priority on the dial-up internet connection. I thought so. That is the case.
That kind of makes sense from a safety standpoint. You couldn't have 911 being shut off because of the computer.
Absolutely, and they're back in those days, you didn't get unlimited data, so you're on the internet too much. Your parents, when they got the bill in the mail, they knew you were, and you were in trouble.
How many whoopings did you get thanks to internet usage, Blake?
Oh, too many. They told me time and time again, Blake, you're grounded. You're not allowed to use a computer. I'm like, okay. Well, they go to bed. Well, you're in bed. I'm going on the computer, and it happened.
I will say the first internet source that I got, it was pretty bad, but it got me online to play Minecraft. Was a little AT&T USB drive that connected to cellular towers. And I'll never forget it. I had 3 gigabytes a month.
Yep, you went through that pretty quickly. I mean, obviously you didn't use data like you do nowadays in the high-speed world, but yeah, you would use that data pretty fast.
Oh, yeah. I remember, having to, join the TeamSpeak calls and quickly, just saying, hey, guys, I'm on, and I got to hop off so I can save data.
Absolutely. We jump around the track a little bit. Not too much going on. Ross Tatum in the third position. Let's pull up your Hutchinson Motorsports TV battle board. Closest battle on the track is the one for the fourth position. Scott Rickard, the GOAT, trying to hold off that's Zach Kreitz in the 9.
Yeah. Chad White side by side with the 44 here.
Yeah, Kyle Bolin trying to get around our driver, Chad White. Chad, you really haven't done anything exceptional tonight. If I'm Chad White in that 36, I just take a hard left and dump the 44.
It would probably be the most useful thing Chad has done tonight.
Yeah, if you're not going to win the show, be the show. So do something, Chad. Oh, and he's going to get in the wall, of course.
Yep, as he's coming down the track, is he going to do it? Okay, he kept it off of him and thought.
I think that's wall riding. That's illegal. I'm going to report him.
Did you see how fast he came off that corner because of his raw riding efforts?
Yeah, that's cheating. I'm definitely reporting him to the league admins after this race. Chad White's out there cheating in our car.
You know, and unlike Michael Waltrip, we do not approve of such cheating methods.
He better do it again, though, or this 44 Bowling going to get around him, but Chad White holds on to 7th for now.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I was about to try to talk to him on the radio, you know, completely off camera. I wasn't going to tell him to intentionally bring out a caution or nothing. I wouldn't dare do that. Would I, Blake?
Not at all, as we have 9 laps left to go. Dylan Grimm in the 2nd position, trying to hold off Ross Tatum. He took back the 2nd spot. Can Grimm finish there? Looks like he's reeling in the race leader, though, pretty quickly there. Pashimi seems to be dropping.
Pashimi is, and if Tatum and Grimm would stop fighting each other and, you know, just work together, they could catch Pashimi, who just got into the wall. Just like Martin Truex Jr., he might throw this race away.
He's trying, but these two keep racing each other behind, you know, and I don't blame them. You know, obviously you're racing for a win. If you're Ross Tatum, you don't really care. But they're reeling them in quickly, and they're side by side. If they can get single file, I think you're going to find them right there with Pashimi.
Absolutely. If there's anything that 78 car knew back in the day was how to throw a race away. So we're going to see if Pashimi could have that luck or hold on for 7 more laps here at Rockingham in the Stars and Stripes Racing League.
You know, it reminds me of the old days back when I believe it was the second to last race, Joey Logano, like, moved Martin Truex out of the way. Oh, as he smokes. Oh, gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, Dylan Grimm's not winning this race. So, yeah, as I was saying, is, you know, Martin Truex was moved out of the way by Joey Logano, and he said something along the lines of he might have won the race. He's not going to win the war. Well, the following week, Christian, Joey Logano won the championship.
Yep, he won the war indeed. And something we haven't done tonight, Blake, we have to go up to our eyes in the sky. Brantley Roden up in that beautiful Harpoon design blimp.
Wow.
As you see the race leader getting into the wall and just about everyone behind him, but my, oh my.
Take a look. If you need paints, folks, head on over harpoondesign.com. As we get to the end of this race, you're watching the American 150 with the Stars and Stripes Racing League here at Rockingham Speedway. Pashimi trying to bring home his first win of the season. He just kind of lucked out as 2nd and 3rd have been smoking the wall.
He's trying to get there himself as he's going to come up on some lap traffic, who hopefully and does, as JT Tinker going to just jump. He's lost his front bumper. He's been in a wreck.
Who is shocked? I'm not.
But Tatum's there, Blake.
He's got a shot here. Can Ross Tatum get around? We know these guys have old junk tires. It's going to be impressive to see him battling with a car that does not want to turn. And as Pashimi tries to hold on Ross Tatum right on the back bumper.
It's been 150 laps, but we have a race at the end. Ross Tatum going to peek to the inside. You're 3. Brian Pashimi up the track's going to hold it off the wall. They're 3 wide with a lapper. Going to come off the turn. Going to still be side by side down the front stretch.
2 laps remain heading into turn 1. We finally have a battle for the race lead. Pashimi out front trying to hold off Ross Tatum with a run down the backstretch going into 3 and 4.
Head down Thunder Alley. Pashimi has the edge on that top line, but Tatum's going to pull through and take the race lead as we head down the front stretch. The white flag is in the air. Next time is the last time.
Ross Tatum leads his first lap of the race. 1 lap remains. Coming out of turn 2, here comes Pashimi trying to bring home the win. It's not going to be enough as they head into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Tatum takes the bottom. He looks clean ahead out of turn 4. Nothing in front of him. Checkered flag in the air. Ross Tatum wins the American 150 at Rockingham.
Brian Pashimi brings it home in the 2nd place. Dylan Grimm getting loose down the front stretch brings it home 3rd. The GOAT, Scott Rickard, finishes 4th. And rounding out your top 5, the Napa No-Out Chevy of Zach Kreitz.
Boy, what a run for Ross Tatum. He didn't lead a single lap until laps 149 and 150. Those are the most important laps of the race. Ross Tatum brings home the win here in his return to the Stars and Stripes Racing League.
The entire audience is going home with a free Little Debbie Christmas 3 cake. And boy, I can't wait to get mine. They're not even in stores yet.
Absolutely. I don't even think they started selling them yet. So Ross Tatum's going to hook up these fans with some Little Debbie Christmas trees, and they are pumped up. Let's get some of these drivers in for an interview.
Well, I don't see any of them. Dylan Grimm is usually in the chat, ain't he?
Oh, he usually pops in. I believe he has a spotter. Usually his Papa spots for him. But Pashimi is in the bronze horse. I got him. We'll go ahead and start with Brian Pashimi, our second-place finisher. I'm sure Grimm will pop in. Maybe if you can tag him there in the Discord for us while we're pulling him in. I got Pashimi right here. Brian Pashimi, Blake, and Christian up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, a great race for you. Looked like you had it won there. Then it just seemed like the car was just struggling to turn, and Tatum gets around you at the end.
Yeah, so I thought I had it. Then unfortunately, like also lap cars like running the same line that I was trying to run, definitely did not help it, and it kind of just made it go straight on the exit 2. And then once he got next to me, I didn't know if it was going to stick into 3, and so that's just it is what it is. But it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, hey, you look good out there. Almost brought home, I believe, your first win of the season, but has to feel good, here starting off the Tier 2 playoffs with a good finish.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a good finish for that playoffs. I don't know how that's working out, but it's a good start for sure.
And Christian, what did you see out of Pashimi here in that 78 car?
Just a dominating performance moving up through the field. I do have to ask a league rule question. Are you not qualifying because of being the rookie in the Stars and Stripes, or what is the deal there?
So I wasn't supposed to qualify for the first 4 races, and then it's just a force of habit at this point. So I'm just starting from the back and having a good time.
So from the back all the way to the front to finish second place, that is very impressive. So congratulations on your second place podium finish here tonight.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep. And hey, before you head out, though, you got any shout outs or anything to add for our fans watching at home after you bring it home second?
Yeah, thanks to everyone for coming out. It was a lot of fun. I did see a few drivers that I haven't seen tonight, so it's good to see that more are coming out. I'd like to thank my right front for leaving me in the last 2 laps. That was great. But it was a good time, and thank you guys for the broadcast. I can't wait to laugh at my last name some more.
Absolutely. Well, hey, congratulations once again, putting it home in the second position.
All right. Thanks so much.
Brian Pashimi, your second place finisher here tonight. Still not seeing Dylan Grimm anywhere, so let's go ahead and bring in the star of the show who got the job done tonight. Let's get him in here. Ross, Blake, and Christian up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Hey, not much, but you return back here to Stars and Stripes, and you bring it home, parking it in Victory Lane with the late pass.
Yeah, that was crazy. I can't believe I got around Dylan, to be honest. Once I got around Dylan, it was I felt like I could catch Brian. Somehow got to him, and I think he maybe hit the wall going into one or something. I don't know. I got lucky there, but man, that was a lot of fun. I'm sweating after the last 30 laps of that.
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting finish, and it looked like, that first run, you were like the only car ripping the wall. You definitely made some ground and passed a lot of cars, but it seemed like those tires were kind of hurting in that first run for you.
Oh yeah, I squeezed the juice out of him on that first run. That was probably not good. And then I forgot what league I'm in where we go green all the time. So I was lucky to get a couple of cautions there and capitalized on it. And I tried to save at the start of that last run, and I think it worked out for me there at the end.
Absolutely did. Christian, what'd you see out of this 21 car, Ross Tatum, parking it in Victory Lane here?
I saw a beautiful car with the Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes on board. You can't even buy them in the stores yet, but because you won, every fan in the stand is going home with their own Little Debbie cake. I want to say you are fast out there. Walk us through moving through the field. How did that car feel out there?
Car felt great. This is only the second time I've ever driven this car, and I just love ripping the wall here. That's something I've always done. I kind of have it figured out. So I figured I wouldn't qualify since I haven't ran here this season yet, so I would just start in the back so I didn't interfere with anyone's race. And man, it was just fun just ripping the wall that first run until about 25 laps in when the car got angry with me. But just so you know, Little Debbie Christmas trees are out in stores now. All Christmas products are out now. I work for Little Debbie now, so go out and get your Christmas trees.
All right.
You heard it here first.
Wow. Hey, that's great to know. I'm going to have to write that down. Next time I head to the store, I'm definitely getting me some. But hey, congratulations, Ross, returning back here tonight. You know, you haven't been able to make it out this season, but good to see you back, and you return with a glorious win here in the American 150. Before you head out, though, you got any shout-outs or anything for the fans watching here at home?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone at Stars and Stripes, that Nate and Brian and all these guys that put this league on. This is the best league on iRacing, in my opinion. It's so much fun to race. I can't wait to come back full time next season and do it some more. And everyone who's who's still been here all season, Scott, Kyle, all those guys that win all the races. And then you guys at Hutchinson Motorsports. I love going back and still watching and seeing who's winning every night. Every Tuesday, I get a little jealous I'm not racing. So looking forward to next season, and I might pop in one or two more before the season's over.
Hey, we're definitely looking forward to that, and I'm sure it's not the last time we're going to hear from you. But congratulations once again, Ross Tatum, your winner here at Thunder Alley.
Thanks, guys.
What a finish there, Christian. You know, I thought it was over. I thought Pashimi had the race won. I didn't really even think it was going to be a battle, but Ross Tatum just kicks it into high gear there those last 5 laps or so and makes the pass on the white flag lap. Well, before the white flag.
You know, you talked about that, but the biggest upset of the night is Cal McCoy tripping over it and, wrecking himself into pit road. That was, the move of the race that definitely turned it around. Cal McCoy had that race won, signed, sealed, delivered. The only thing that beat him was himself tonight.
And, Christian, since Dylan Grimm, our third place finisher, isn't going to pop in, it looks like, let's pull in somebody for a quick little interview. Let's get him in here. Kyle, Blake, and Christian up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Hey, guys, I got you.
Hey, man, you were bad fast all night long. You were the car to beat, and it looked like you just got loose there coming off 4, and you spin it out and junk it down pit road. Walk us through that.
Yeah, I just kind of wrecked myself off the corner. I came off the corner, and all of a sudden I was sideways, and I barely got clipped from Brian. I don't know if I could have saved it. It would have been probably wouldn't have mattered. I told him I think he just helped me miss the barrels by a little bit. So, yeah, kind of brutal. Just turned myself right off the corner, and that's going to be tough to run Scott down in 3 races from that points gap. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah,
Big time auto racing, right?
Yeah, that happens sometimes, and it kind of, gave me flashbacks of Saturday when Iowa State was out there against Arizona State.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that car seems to be carrying some bad juju along with it. I keep.
Yeah, Christian, what'd you see out of McCoy other than obviously he was a car to beat until that incident?
It's just like, that's pretty much it. Light and fast. You shot out on restarts like a cannon. Just unfortunately, didn't work out tonight, but he had everything he needed to do it.
Yeah, it felt like it was a good showing at least. Still had speed in this car. I'm disappointed. I think Scott nipped me by a couple points in the points specifically for this car. So congrats to him. Like I said, he's going to be tough to catch, but still at speed, so it can take a lot from that. But this was one of my best tracks, and I was hoping to capitalize on it, and we did for a while until it was too late, right?
Absolutely. Well, hey, it was good. It was good seeing you out there. You had a great race, and it was really good to see Ross Tatum back out there. It's been a while since he's been able to make it out.
Yeah, it was. It's been a while since he's been here, and he's always a great competitor in this series. So fun to see him back out there, and not surprised at all to see him win a race.
Absolutely. Well, hey, again, good run tonight. Didn't work out the way you wanted, but definitely had some speed.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you putting on the broadcast. Like I said, congrats to Ross. Thanks for the league putting this race on, and we'll see you next week. And maybe IndyCar at Texas will spice things up enough to get me back in it.
Absolutely. There's Kyle McCoy. He brought home. Where did he end up even finishing here, Christian? Trying to find him.
I'm not sure.
I have him.
I don't have my thing up.
Oh man, Lost right now. Okay, he finished 18th. So that not the results do not speak to the speed. Again, he was the favorite all night long. Real quick, let's pull up your lap leaderboard. So Kyle McCoy, he led 89 laps here tonight. Ends up bringing home the 18th position. Ross Tatum there at the bottom of the board. It says he led 1 lap. Really, he should have led 2, but nonetheless, great showing from Ross Tatum, parking it in victory lane here tonight. And folks, that was the American 150 here with the Stars and Stripes Racing League, the first race of the playoffs. We just saw a good one. We had a lot of green flag racing. Christian, what are your final thoughts of this race?
You know, I mean, Rockingham never fails to put on a show. I can't wait to the day we see Cup cars ripping it around there again. A race that you thought was going to go one way really went the other. The Stars and Stripes Racing Series put on a good show. I can't wait to see the points and try to, do some studying to understand the points a little better as we move on to Texas next week.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that's going to round things out here at Rockingham. We appreciate you tuning in, watching some Tuesday night racing with the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Tomorrow night, we're going to be back live with 2 races going on at the same time. I'm going to be live with the Superstar ARCA Cup Series, and Jesse and Christian are going to be live with the GLSR Mr. Radiator Trucks. So be sure to come on out here tomorrow night. And before you head out, click that like button. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel and check out the description here in the video. There is a link to the Discord. You can join us. There's all kinds of fun events going on. Every Friday night, we do our HMS TV Dash for No Cash and some other fun stuff going on as well. And again, that's really about all we got. So in the booth with Christian Taylor, I'm Blake Hutchinson. We will see you next time.
Hi, I'm Larry McReynolds. Remember, in any type of racing, it's all about execution. So right now, subscribe to Hutchinson Motorsports TV today. You know America's crew chief. I would never steer you wrong.
Hutchinson Motorsports TV is back. The lights are bright and the stands are packed.
42 right there with him. Smokes him. Oh my goodness! Oh! The whole field is junk! It's a parking lot! They door slam each other. Checkered flag in the air. It's gonna be too close to call. Oh, he just got smoked! Oh my goodness! Turned! He got dumped in the racing. Caution is out. Oh,